Yeah! Yeah, what's up? What's up, twitch.tv/The Trident Network, or what's up, everybody in the podcast ether, whether you're watching us live or listening to this as a podcast in the future, or maybe you're even watching the archived recording of this. However you are choosing to intake I Love Improv with Trent Dozier, we appreciate it. This is, of course, as I just said, I Love Improv with Trent Dozier. I am your titular host, Trent Dozier. So happy to be here with you all once again on another Monday, doing what I love most. That's improv, baby. Of course, I wouldn't be able to do this show if it wasn't for our fearless leader, our fearless producer, the wind beneath my wings, the wind in my sails, the gust of wind that you need when you're in the windy city where she is right now. It's Val Agnew. What's up, Val?
What's up, Trent? Just blowing in for a nice combo.
Kind of lost the thread there. I had two really good ones, and then I was like, well, rule of three, and then I fumbled it to the end, but we got what we needed, I think.
I appreciate it.
Val, thank you. Val, how's it going? How are we doing? How's Chicago?
I'm great. Chicago is beautiful right now, so loving that. And just having a good time doing life. What about you?
You recovering well from the Trident second birthday party?
Oh my goodness, yes. 8 straight hours of streaming. Honestly, yeah. It felt like 8 minutes. It was so fun. It was
good.
Yeah, it was a blast. And the stuff that people put up was pretty incredible.
Yeah, I had fun doing what I did, and I had fun watching the parts of it that I watched. Unlike you, I wasn't locked in for all 8 hours, but not all of us can be the frickin' queen. Am I right, Val?
I don't know about that, but I did appreciate that we got to do some improv.
Yes, Val and I did improv together. If you missed that, go check out the 8 hour.
No.
Go back and scrub through the 8 hour stream. No. Scrub through the 8 hour stream. Try and find where the I Love Improv portion, where Val and I, Val was not only producing the show, but improvising with me as well. We had a blast. I had a great time.
It was great.
Well, speaking of other Trident endeavors, coming up after our show, if you're watching live on Twitch right now, you can of course stay locked into twitch.tv/The Trident Network, where we will be immediately followed by the season finale of Bitcherton Presents Our Gay Pirate Show, where of course the folks who previously reviewed Bridgerton are now reviewing Our Flag Means Death. So tune in for that. Stay locked in if you're interested in that show, or if you're not. It's fun either way. Also, there's some fun stuff coming up on the Trident Network. If you are listening to this on a podcast, I think you missed this first thing, which is next Monday on April 17th, The Witching Hour returns live to twitch.tv/The Trident Network. And then next Thursday, so if you're listening to this on a podcast, you can tune in live for this still. Next Thursday on 4/20, nice, pilot season is back with their new episodes, so make sure you tune into either of those. And then even further out in April, something to look forward to, Wednesday, April 26th, this is a new podcast?
Yes.
A new podcast, Unjelly Vision. Val, why don't you tell us a little bit about Unjelly?
Unjelly Vision. So
Unjelly
Misra is going to talk TV, pop culture. She loves all of it, and she has a lot to say, and it's all interesting, and she's going to have different guests every episode. It's going to be really fun.
I love TV, and I love pop culture. So you can count me in. I'll be locked in. I love the Trident Network. But I think above all, Val, you know what I love even more than the Trident Network. And that's improv, baby. And we're about to do some improv. Val, should we stop beating around the bush and get into this week's episode?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. This week's guest is someone who I am ecstatic to have on, be a part of the show. I was telling them a few minutes before we went on that when I was first envisioning the show, they were one of the 5 improvisers I had in mind where I was like, oh, I want to be in this format with them. This is an improviser I love as both an improviser on stage, but also a person who talks about improv. And he is one half of the hosts of one of my favorite improv podcasts, Improv is Dead. If you're in the chat, please show some love to this week's guest, Dan White. What's up, Dan?
Hello, Trent. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks for that introduction. That was really nice. Also, technically, a little housekeeping here. Technically, I'm 1/3 of the hosts of Improv is Dead because Damien Anaya is now officially our third host of the show. We're kind of changing up the format a bit, just doing some, we're trying to do more fudge stuff, which was our old team in Chicago. So.
Oh my god. Okay, well, if you're listening to this on a podcast, I literally leaned back out of my chair, mouth agape, because to me personally, as a big time fudge boy, that's great news. And as
Thanks,
any of
buddy.
the true improv perverts will know, Damien was always considered the true host of the show, and Dan and Tim are just kind of around weekly. Damien pops in and out as he chooses.
Yeah.
But that's a deep
as he
cut.
choose. As he choose was more like it, cause not chooses, because he likes to show up eating, which is even as a host, we're trying to work through.
I'm sure you guys will figure it out. Well, that's great.
But thanks, man. No, this is great. I'm so excited to be here. Excited to do this.
Yeah, dude, I love as I've said, I love Dan doing improv on stage. I also love him doing improv, through my ears on Improv is Dead. So, check out Improv is Dead. We'll talk more about Improv is Dead at the end. But
Thanks,
first, buddy. Dan and I got to do some freaking improv, which I'm stoked about. So Dan, we are going to get a suggestion, of course, for you and I to improvise together. But first things first, if you have listened to the show or watched the show before, you know the little spiel that I'm about to get into. But if you are tuning in for the first time across all platforms, first of all, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Second of all, I hope you love improv because that's what this is all about. And third of all, here's the spiel. All suggestions are great suggestions. That's undeniable, especially when it comes to improv. However, when it comes to I Love Improv with Trent Dozier, we want a thick suggestion, a meaty suggestion, something robust, a lot of meat on the bone, so to speak. So, for example, if you were going to give the suggestion of key fob, we would prefer something like Trent is Dan's dad, and he bought Dan a car for Christmas, but Dan is not satisfied with the car that was purchased because he's spoiled and Trent has a broken arm. Something like that, a lot of meat on the bone, so we can just jump right into it. Now, because that's the type of suggestion that we want here on I Love Improv, it tends to help if you know a little bit about the performers already. So if you have seen Dan perform, please, by all means, feel free to start throwing suggestions into the chat. But if you have never seen Dan perform, I am about to tell Dan and everyone tuning in right now what I love about Dan as an improviser, and maybe that will help inform you as to what type of scene you would like to see us do together. So if you want to,
I thought we already did I thought the start was the compliment section. There's
you
more
thought that
to
was
it.
The compliments? Oh my! You thought me just being like Dan's great, moving on. You thought that was it? Nice try, buddy.
That's enough. That's more than enough.
Nice try. Okay, here's the compliments. Dan's great. All right, we'll take suggestions.
I'll do it. I'll take it.
No, that's not good enough. Dan, clearly you're not ready, but are you ready now for the compliments? Okay.
I'm always ready for compliments, Trent.
As I have said, you're one of my favorites to watch. I think your energy, especially on the previously mentioned fudge, is like electric. And I think I had a similar I was saying a similar thing to Tim, and I think it's because you guys are both on fudge together and you have that type of energy. But it doesn't matter.
That negates the compliment, though.
No, it doesn't.
If I know Tim got the compliment, I'm like,
no, it's different. But you play with such an energy of like, I love improv. I love these people I'm on stage with, whether it's fudge or any other team I've ever seen you play with. Even when you're doing,
you've not seen me play with a lot of teams. Then you should have seen me my first 5 years starting improv.
Well, that's true. You were in Chicago before I was, so by the time I got to Dan White, current Dan White is like you play with such joy, and you play with such like I think the word I want to use is like fuckery, where you are such a good person to play with because you always like have something going on for yourself, but you are such an incredible gift giver. You will just drop little nuggets about people or for people throughout a scene that is just like, as an improviser, as someone who's either playing with you or watching you play, I'm like, oh my god, I wish I was in that scene with Dan right now. I would love the gift that he just gave. I
Oh, that's so
legitimately
nice.
think
Thank
you
you.
are one of the best at doing that, of setting your teammates up. And I think you also are so good at setting your teammates up like to their strengths, you know? You're not just throwing out gifts willy-nilly. You're like, well, I know, for example, I know what Damien's good at, so I'm going to set,
Oh,
Damien
that's
up
nice.
exactly.
Yeah.
I truly think you're one of the best at that. Also, I think it's really so hard. I didn't give this compliment to Tim. This is a Dan original.
Okay, this is now we're getting into it.
Yeah. Also, the back half of that compliment was a Dan original. Um, but I think it's so hard to like play angry or confrontational on stage. And you see, like, that's a rule that people get at the beginning when they're learning how to do it because it's so hard to do. Guys, there is no one better on the planet, in my opinion, of playing someone like angry or confronting someone in an improv scene than Dan White. You do it in a
Really?
way, oh my god, dude.
Whoa,
You
that's a
do it
great
in a way,
compliment.
that is so funny, and it never feels like I feel like young improvisers, a lot of times you see people in a fight on stage and you're like, "Oh my god, they're like trying to be mean because they think being mean is funny." But you, to me, are the ultimate, like, you are one of the top 3 people I can think of, I think, who
We just
really
said best though.
no, at that. But you're one of the, because now I'm thinking of somebody else in a different scenario.
I'm totally kidding, man. I do this to myself all the time when I give compliments because I'm like, I know it. I know.
But you are such a good, the way to say it is, you play lovable losers. So you're one of the best guys who just
That means a lot. Thank you. I love
stuck
that.
or are down on their luck, and you just play them in a way where you're not even like feeling like, you can play a guy who you do feel bad for, but you can play a guy who you don't feel bad for at all, and you're like actively rooting against them, and you're
I
like,
think
yeah, I
that's
love it. That guy
really
got his comeuppance.
I'm really thankful that you said that. I think that I would agree. I think that I think I play the shitheads really well, and I think
Yes,
Tim Lyons plays the like down on the
yes,
like he's the one you're rooting for, and I'm the one that you're rooting to get like their head cut off or
exactly,
whatever.
exactly.
That is that's super nice, man. Thank you so much. That's really kind of you. I'll take all those compliments. And honestly, Trent, I told you I had a compliment for you.
You can give it. I don't want it,
I
but you can give it.
I can't believe because you know what is funny, and I'm not just I mean I'm not saying this. My compliment for you was that you are one of the most joyous players that I know, and that you have that joyful energy, and that is kind of my guiding philosophy in improv, which I very
Oh,
blatantly stole from Joran Gargello, which is that the only real emotion on stage is joy, and everything else is just acting.
yeah. Oh,
Um,
that's
and
great.
I love that. That is like my kind of North Star with improv. And I feel like you're somebody who I absolutely associate that with, where like you're always trying to do good work. You're always like having a good time. I mean, the bones are there, you know, you got great technique and stuff like that. But just your sheer unbridled joy about it. I remember, I think it was I think I could be getting the timeline incorrect. So I apologize if if this is wrong, but we I was on Carl for a time, Carl and the
Mm-hmm.
Passions, and we had
Mm-hmm.
just like a sliver of overlap. I ended up having a kid and kind of had to drop off, but like um I think it was I want to say I think you were sitting in on a show, and in the show that you sat in on, you ended up with your like shirt off wrestling or something.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that always sticks out to me as like, and I know you much better now, but I was still just getting to know you then. And I was like, once I saw that, I was like, this guy, I'm all in on Trent.
Yeah.
Um, so I love your joy. Obviously, you're so smart on stage, but I think the
Thank you.
thing that you can't replicate is when someone is having fun, and that energy is, you know, that's why we do it.
Yeah. I mean, I fully agree too about the concept of playing with joy. I think I was lucky where I kind of had that built into me from my training here at Made Up Theater in Northern California. And then when I moved to Chicago, I kind of like gravitated like you, and I think Fudge as a whole, there's a reason why Fudge is a team who I always say there's 5 teams in Chicago that are my teams, and Fudge is one of them because every team on that list, but definitely Fudge, plays with that, unbridled joy. Even if you're like, in fights yelling at each other on stage, it's
Yeah.
like from a place of love and joy and fun. And like, speaking of Joran, former guest of the show as well, Joran, like I saw that from him on stage too, and
Yeah, me
I
too.
sought him out as a teacher also, because of that. So
Yeah.
we're a couple joy boys chasing that joy. We
We're
love
from
it.
the Joran tree, both of us, I think.
So truly, so
The
truly.
Joran coaching tree, teaching tree.
Yeah, I went out of my way to have Joran be my teacher.
Yeah, no, he's awesome.
All right. Well, now Dan and I are going to compliment Joran for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If you want Joran compliments, go back in the archives because Joran's got an
man.
episode where I compliment him.
Yeah.
Val, how are we looking on the suggestion front?
Well, we have one.
Awesome.
It seems to be someone who knows Dan, or at least Dan on Twitter, pretty well. The real
Right.
Okay.
Sangaman says, if this hasn't been beaten to death, I'd love to see a scene where Dan is Dan and Trent is Kevin, Dan's wife's coworker, who is a really great guy and goes above and beyond accompanying Dan's wife on her many business trips.
Jesus.
We can. Dan, are you good
Do
with
you
that?
want to do that,
Yeah,
Dan?
of course.
Okay.
Of course, I would do it. If someone popped in the chat to request it, of course,
Yeah,
I'll do my
dude, I
best. I
love
don't know
that.
if I'll do it any justice, but
What was their name? Call me Senka Man, something like
The
that.
real Sangaman.
The real Senga Man. Thank you, the real Senga Man. All right, Dan, you ready to do this?
let's do it.
All right.
Beautiful home. This is a
Good.
beautiful
Yeah.
home.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad you appreciate. Kelly's obviously seen it, but I'm glad you liking it too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thanks so much. The heck of a party. This is like, talk about a fucking blowout.
Yeah, dude, are you having a good time?
Dude,
it
I'm
looks like
having
you're
a
good
great time. I was in the wrong room for a bit.
I think we
I was-
accidentally locked you in there. Someone might have.
Yeah, I was in the wrong.
Oh,
I went up. I was in like one of your. I guess I thought it was the main party room because there's like food and stuff laid out. But I guess it was like kind of where the caterers like prep the stuff.
Yeah.
So I got first dibs.
Yo, okay. I noticed there were a couple finger chunks out of a lot of the
Yeah.
dips when the dips got brought out. So that
They're
must have been
shrimp
you.
chunks. They were shrimp chunks. I wasn't raised in a barn.
Okay, well, I've heard some stories around the around the tree, around the office,
Yeah.
etc., etc.
Whoa, you met Chris Kattan?
Yeah, that picture. I actually was a VIP at SNL one time,
Wow.
and I got. You can see he's in the monkey outfit. So it was the night that him and J-Lo did the sketch where he was being Mango the monkey, and so that's what that all is. Yeah.
What's the difference between Mango and Mr. Peepers? Are those two different characters?
No, Mr. Peepers is Mango is what they were. I think J-Lo might have been named Mango in the.
Got it. Didn't mean to call you out there, but I was like,
no,
he's fucking wrong about this one. I know.
No, dude. No, Dan, you're the real. I'm more a sports guy. You're into comedy, arts, all that stuff.
What's your sport? What's your sport of choice?
Football, baseball, basketball. Love them all. Love all the American sports. Soccer, not a real sport in my opinion, of course. But.
Yeah. Have you ever been to a NASCAR event?
Have I ever been to a NASCAR event? I've actually been the flag bearer at a NASCAR event before. I've gotten to
really?
The honorary, the green flag to get them going around the track.
Oh wow, I would love to do that. I'd love to go to one of those places.
I could hook you up. My dad is actually he owns one of the teams. He owns the Anheuser-Busch team, the racing team.
Oh yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s old team, right?
Yeah. So
I can't do it. I'm not drinking Bud Light right now. Can't do it. Sorry.
Well, we actually have a wide variety of alcohols on tap around here if you want to, grab anything. Don't be sticking your finger in there, or no shrimps in the alcohol, you know what I mean? Try and keep it clean.
They actually, when I was in college, my nickname was Shrimp, believe it or not.
I believe, yeah, I do. I can believe that. Yeah, you're pretty small. Sorry, that just kind of
Mhm.
came out. I didn't mean that
No,
as a
no, no.
negative.
Oh
Just
no, it
kind
was
of an
because
observation.
I'm sick. I'm 6'1". Just love shrimp.
Oh, I thought it was because you're. I know you're taller than me, clearly, but your like body is kind of like shrimpy.
Yeah,
Is what
I
I
like
would say.
aerobic exercise. I do mostly aerobic stuff. I'm not into like weightlifting. I'm not looking to see how much weight I can put up or whatever.
How much weight do you think you could put up?
I don't even know. I don't even have a reference point.
Okay, well, let's say Kelly's like what, $110. You think you could lift Kelly?
Um, yeah, I think I could.
Could you? I know I could lift Kelly. I've lifted Kelly
Okay.
quite a few times today.
Yeah, yeah, I could lift her.
Are you okay? Good. That's good. So you could do at least 110. No
Yeah.
problem. Probably do
Mhm.
like probably do like
You're talking about my dog Kelly, right? My dog Kelli.
Yeah.
No, okay. Because it sounds like you think you're talking about my wife Melissa, but I think you keep saying Kelly, and I don't know. Like, I feel like you're talking about my dog.
No, I am. You got that big Great Dane, right?
Just because I want to be clear that I have boundaries about what what I'm willing to.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I mean my Great Dane Kelly, I could probably lift her. My wife Mel absolutely could not lift.
You don't think you could lift Mel?
No, she's clocking in at $140.
You can't do $140?
No, because the weight's all disproportionate. It's all over the place. If I could pick up a single weight at 140, but when it's all, it's awkward.
I got a rack. You wanna put up some pounds right now?
I'm not into that. I'm not into trying to impress anybody with the weight.
I'm not. It's not about impressing. I just want to see if you can.
How much do you think this home costs?
How much did this home cost?
No,
4.2.
how much do you think it costs now? Not what you
Oh,
bought it for. I see online what you bought it for. I'm asking what you
yeah.
think.
Well, we bought at 4.2 mil, as I just said. So honestly, like if I were to sell now,
Yeah.
based on location alone, I think
Yeah.
we'd probably double what we put into it.
You got
and
a
we put in
fucking
work too. So,
steal. You got a fucking steal on this place.
yeah,
4.2 mil.
yeah.
Oh man, that's
You just
great.
you just got to get in when the getting's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this place, what did you say you think you could get for it now?
Now at least double it. I would say at least 8.4.
That's so smart. That's so smart.
Yeah.
I fucked up my portfolio. I'll tell you what.
Oh my, no.
Yeah.
Dan, no.
Yep. I got really big into the NFT game.
Oh, if you would have talked to me, I could have let you know that's not the way to go.
No, I liked it because I thought I could do it. Like I could make them. And I
Yeah.
thought that was like a good investment, and then
No.
yeah. And then
No.
I made some real bad choices in real estate. I went hard on some bad real estate investments as well.
That's tough. As you can see, you made a great real estate
Yeah.
investment. And then, if you would have come to me, I would have told you, stay away from NFTs. Those aren't real. Go into crypto. That's the way to be. But,
Mhm.
little late now. I mean, I could look at your portfolio, try and get some crypto activity going in there, or honestly,
I bought a bunch of storefronts in malls.
You bought them?
Yeah.
Where?
Just various malls throughout the Rust Belt.
Dude, people in the Rust Belt don't go to the mall anymore.
I thought it was coming back. I thought it was coming back during the, after the pandemic. People would want to get out, go to Gadzooks, go to Spencer's, go to Wet Seal. I was like, and I'm going to be sitting on a fucking gold mine right now. So
Dude,
that's tanked. That's done worse than the NFTs, honestly. Honestly, mall storefronts make NFTs look like the NASDAQ 500.
Did any of the malls have an Orange Julius in it?
No, I did like I found niches without Orange Julius's, because usually I took that to mean that was like a bellwether for a saturated market.
No, the only place you can get an Orange Julius is in a mall. That's why people still go to malls. So if you've got all these different malls and none of them have an Orange Julius, what are people even going to come to the mall for?
I don't know. They give me diarrhea.
Orange Julius? Oh, you must have a weak.
Too much sugar.
What? The sugar is what gives you diarrhea?
Yeah, that's why.
Man.
So
I think you got to stop doing aerobic exercises, and I think it's time for you to start clanging and banging some weights around, because that'll get
What's
your
that?
core. That'll get your core stronger, and then
Yeah.
that'll help you digest the sugar more, and then you can
you got
enjoy
a good
an
core.
Look at this thing. Stacked. Tink,
Damn.
tink, 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 tink.
Wow.
8
Hey, can I
abs.
ask you something? Because I always
Anything,
wonder this.
Yeah, anything.
Just between us as guys, because you got this core. I'm looking at this. I'm like, look at these abs. Look at this.
Yeah.
Do you just shoot? You just fucking shoot.
Yeah. I can't. Here's the thing about me. I can't even control it anymore.
Really? Oh God, I would love that.
That's why
love that.
That's why I got high ceilings in the house, because if the ceilings were any lower, it'd be like a freaking walking through a cave in here with, I don't know if stalactite or stalagmite, whichever one's on top of it. It'd be like
tight. You hold on tight. Stalactite.
That's a great trick. I need more of those. Are those onomatopoeias or are those,
mine looks like a stalagmite. Like it's just kind of like
it's kind of like a shrimp, if you would. Yeah.
It makes that fucking noise too. It's already bad. Like it already kind of dribbles, but it does this. I don't know if I work up some air in the back of my balls or something, but when it's so
like
like
a just between us guys, it's kind of like a peef.
Yeah, I peef. Damn.
That is weird. I think I could be
doing crunches and shit. I'm trying to shoot. And it's like if you grab an orange, like I want you to imagine I got an orange in my hand and that's I just kind of it's just running down my wrist, you know? That's what
But you want to, and I'm sure you're imagining me grabbing an orange and I crush that, no problem. And it's just spraying, just like,
damn, that's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's good. I'm happy for you, Cav. That's great, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I eat a lot of citrus too, so that's I don't know if that helps at all. I'm pretty much an exclusively citrus diet in whatever form it comes. You know, I'll do a drink or I'll do a physical citrus, but it's pretty much all citrus and chocolate. Citrus and chocolate is my diet, and then I work out, obviously, clanging and banging. You got to get on the weights, I think. But you know, I'm just one man in a house that was once worth 4.2 million and is now probably worth 8.4 million. Obviously, I'm fucking stacked, obviously ab wise, but you know, I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy who works with your wife, and that's all that matters, right?
Yeah,
right.
No, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's awesome. Thanks so much for inviting us too. We actually drove separate, so she headed back a while ago. But I was gonna stick around and help you clean up a little bit.
Oh, you don't need to.
I noticed I clocked that Dyson when I walked in. I was hoping to get my hands on that Dyson.
You want to give the Dyson a test drive, eh?
Yeah.
Come on, let's pop on. As you can see, it's a Dyson vacuum, but it's more like a lawnmower.
It's like a ride-on. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like a Roomba. It's like a Roomba, but Dyson built it for humans. So
yeah.
What do you weigh? What are you, like 85 pounds soaking wet?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean 80, 85, 86 on a good day.
Okay, come here. I'll just plop you right on it.
Oh, stop. Oh, that's fine. Okay, thank you.
You can just drive. You can drive around the whole house if you want to.
I can?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's stairs that you wouldn't be able to make it up on the thing, but this thing's it weighs about 140 exactly, so it might be kind of out of your range if you're trying to pick it up.
Oh yeah, this is nice. I feel like a drag racer.
Yeah. Whip around. It's actually you can probably see there. It's got some Anheuser-Busch racing stickers on the side. That's the team my dad owns. So
yeah. Oh fun. Man. Oh wow. This is sick.
You thinking about getting one of those for Mel? Whenever she's over here, she loves it. She loves riding.
Yeah.
Kelly, the dog. Kelly also loves popping on the thing. You would think this is how you know it's a good vacuum. Your dog loves the vacuum. Doesn't bark at it. Doesn't even bark at it.
That's crazy because the dog fucking hates my vacuum. When I vacuum at home, it runs away.
Well, are you using a traditional, push vacuum?
I don't know. I adopted this thing 8 years ago. It hates my fucking guts.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant you adopted the vacuum 8 years ago, and I was
No,
like,
the dog. I've had I keep getting new vacuums to try because to not scare it, but
yeah,
I think it's unrelated.
you got to get. I'm telling you, you got to get
Tries to
a Dyson driver.
tries to bite me when I'm in the shower and when I'm
Any
going to
other
the bathroom.
any
I
other
have to
times or
lock the
just
door. Well, I think it sees me in like a weak position. So a lot of
yeah?
times, like when I'm in my most vulnerable, I'll be washing my hair and it'll like leap through the shower curtain, and like go for my fucking neck or whatever. I'll be on the
Wow.
toilet and it'll be like biting at me,
The
So
the only other thing, because I don't want to I don't want to call you weak man to man. I would never do that. The only other thing I could possibly think of is those are both scenarios where your penis is exposed, and maybe to the human ear we hear a peef, like just a little peefing out, but maybe to a dog it's like a
you
it's
think
like a
it's like yeah, like a dog whistle thing?
I don't like I said I
Like
don't
it's
peef
shooting
I
out
don't
some real
peef.
high pitched air.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't peefed, so I don't know, but
You know
it could.
what? It does lose its goddamn mind when when I climax.
When
I
you
could be on the
climax,
other side of the house and it'll like start biting the sofa.
I'm no science.
I know that if I climax, that I'm
Uh-huh.
walking out, there's gonna be piss somewhere in the house because the dog got so mad. And I thought it was abused. I like took it back to PetSmart or the rescue. I took it to PetSmart to get trained. I took it back to the rescue. I said, I think this dog was abused. It's so mean. They said this dog was loved by a family of 12. They said they said the dog was loved fully and completely. That they had to get rid of it because I guess they had like an allergy or something. But it had a great upbringing. They had no complaints.
Man,
But it hates me. It hates me.
it's got to be the peef, and I can't really think of anything else.
Yeah. God damn.
Oh, don't, hey, it's okay. You're
No, I'll tell you what, that my dog shoots fucking ropes, man. I'm so jealous of that fucking dog.
That's the scene.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god,
That was dirty.
Yeah.
that was dirty.
I
That-
asked in the chat and no one responded. Do people talk like this in real life?
No,
No, like I said,
absolutely not.
Dan is the king of playing the shithead who
Yeah.
you're rooting against.
Sorry that I had to negate you there, but I was like, if I'm gonna get dirty in this, I can't have any real life details involved in the scene. So I have
No,
to
no, no.
pull an age old negation and just hard pivot.
Honestly, because of the conceit and the setup of it all, what in the exact moment when you negated it, I was like, I get it. That makes total sense. Let's pivot for sure. Let's pivot away from using that.
I have very low standards, but I have a few.
Hey,
That was super
and
fun though, Trent. I loved it.
yeah, dude, I had a blast, and I think that's like, honestly, that right there is a really good example of like you negated, which is like people were like, when you're learning how to do improv, you're like, well, don't do that. You got to agree with everything. But you did it in a way where it wasn't you where you were like, hey, we gotta, this sucks or whatever. It was so clear to me, like you were communicating with me so clearly what you wanted without, being overt about it. And as someone who has done as much improv as I have, and as someone who has done as much improv as you have, I like understood it immediately and like really appreciated it. And I feel like there's like, this language that improvisers have on stage with each other I mean, you and I have played together, I don't know, maybe 10 times at most probably, but I feel like I've seen you play a lot and you've seen me play. And so there's this level of like, even like Val and I, when we played together a couple weeks ago, Val and I don't know that we had ever played together, but I respect Val as a human and as an improviser. So I feel safe, in that situation. And like you and me, obviously we've played together a little bit more than me and Val, but like you're someone who I respect as an improviser. So I'm like, oh, I understand exactly what he's trying to accomplish here. I know like the language he's speaking. And so it was like,
Yeah.
super easy.
You're being super generous there. I think that was a bad move on my part, but I felt guilty because I didn't want you to feel bad, but I just was like, I got to make sure that I feel comfortable with knowing, and it was purely me knowing that like I won't be able to get through this scene without saying something terrible. So
Yeah, but I think I understand. I do understand what you're saying, but I also think that above all else, like you want to have fun, you want to like make the audience laugh. Those are like every improviser's two goals. But above all else, you want to like, feel safe and be in an environment where you feel comfortable because you can't make people laugh or have fun yourself if you're in a position where you're feeling uncomfortable, right? So it's like whether it was what it was or what it wasn't. Like I understood where you were coming from, and like I appreciated it all. On the topic of the scene itself, as I was kind of alluding to, I thought that was kind of a perfect like encapsulation of what I think you do so well, which is like this shitty guy who sucks, but is still like you are doing it from a place of like joy and fun still. So everything you're talking about is still funny. It's like, we were talking about Tim being like the guy you're rooting for. And it's like, yeah, you are rooting against this character that Dan's playing. I don't want this guy to win, but it doesn't
I
mean you
don't know
can't
why.
laugh
What
at
was
it.
why that guy was getting cucked? He was just trying to make friends. Why were you rooting against that one?
I don't know. Probably because he's
Just
talking
because
about
of the
shooting all
subject
the
matter?
time.
Just because he's talking about shooting?
Yeah.
But he sucked at shooting. Isn't there something to that? This poor guy's, what'd you call it? Peefing?
Yeah, and
Which
to
I
be clear,
love that idea. And I love the idea that it was fucking the dog up. Oh my God.
it's so fun.
That's
Go
funny.
ahead. Go ahead.
That's interesting. I mean, no, I think like, yeah, I mean, in my comedy brain, I think if I had to diagnose it, it's like the sort of guy who would feel comfortable enough in that situation to talk like that. It's
Yeah.
like the kind of guy where you're like, well, he kind of deserves to
Yeah.
whatever lot in life, you know.
Yeah,
He got
he's
dealt a
definitely
shitty hand, but he's done nothing to like improve
to
upon
improve
it
it.
on the
Yeah.
river or on the turn.
I was gonna say, yeah, exactly. I was gonna say something similar, which is like clearly this is a Tim Lyons type of lovable loser, but then the difference is Tim will turn it in a way like the way you turn it is like this guy clearly hasn't learned any lessons. He's not like, he's still like, so we're gonna talk about shooting at this party that you're hosting? Awesome, great, love it.
Well, I like that because it is interesting because it's like the dynamic, right? The game, like you're high status, I'm low status. So like, what's a way we could, really give you even more high status
Yeah.
than just like having ripped abs is. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was.
Well,
I mean, also I feel bad sometimes because I'm like, it was a super loose, super silly, like just silly fun scene.
yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, overanalyzing it is like probably not the most fruitful exercise because I think the first part of the scene, which I will take full blame for, it was a little meandering because in my head, as we talked about, was like trying to figure out a way out of the situation that I did not want to go down. So I was like, okay, so how do I navigate this? And that led to me buying time with a lot of like just like half answers, as my brain in the back was turning. So interested that's like interesting, but I think when you do enough of these, it's more just like if you can find one or two things that make you laugh, that's like the goal.
Yeah. Well, I mean that too. I agree. Once we got past the wife of it all, then it was like, hitting a second gear. But I also, like I was saying earlier, you want to feel, or not you specifically. I mean, yes, you specifically, but the royal you. Every improviser wants to, feel comfortable on stage and feel like they are able to improvise to their maximum. And I know I think you felt a little meandering. I was fine, like, continuing to dig. But I do agree. Once we got past that, we were clipping along. And I do, especially in the back half of that scene, I think we definitely found stuff that, made us laugh. And like, I don't know if me showing my belly was what you wanted, but anytime anybody's, that's like my fucking, that's my go. If you're listening to this on a podcast, you missed it. Go back on YouTube. I Love Improv Archives. Check it out. But that's like my go-to that's my go-to move is showing off my belly. I love doing that. Like you said in
Great
that
move.
show with Carl and the Passions. I remember that show too. I think that was the first time I sat in on Carl. Hannah
That's what I
McDonald.
thought.
Yeah, Hannah McDonald, previous guest, asked me to sit in because we were in class together at CIC, maybe even
Mhm.
Joran's level, just to tie this all together.
Yeah,
And
Hannah's
I was
awesome.
like, yeah, I was like, wow, I would love to because I loved I really liked Carl as a team, but also at that time specifically, like Hannah, who I'm now still really good friends with, her and I were vibing great in class as improvisers, and I was excited to play with her more. But
Mhm.
you, Noah, and Tracy, I was like, oh, these are like three improvisers who I immensely respect for different reasons for sure. I mean, I think all three of you played differently. Obviously Noah played very differently than you and Tracy, but I just remember going to that show and being like, okay, you got to just be fearless and mirror whatever Tracy does. And so that's honestly that's probably how my shirt ended up off because that's my go-to move. But that was great, and I love
That's
doing
so funny.
I
Yeah,
love
I
doing
mean,
shit like that.
obviously, like Tracy is, Tracy can do no wrong. She's the best.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yeah, I mean, Noah, I mean, to the end was like the guy when you play with him, you would want him to like the show and like what you were doing. And I remember Noah being being very, I think, surprised and like excited, which is like when you think about the reps that he had to do that to him is the best, I think, compliment you could give, in improv because he was the, kind of the pinnacle and like he just loved it so much and he had seen so much, so to really surprise him was great. So that's, I think, why it sticks out in my head because I remember
Mm.
it being very funny, but I also remember Noah being like very tickled by it, which was great.
Yeah, I don't because I never felt like it was so interesting. Every student had Noah at IO, and of course we talked about Noah a couple weeks ago. Or many. I mean, we've talked about Noah many times, and Noah, of course, was the first ever guest on I Love Improv.
Yeah, I listened to that
Um,
episode.
it was great. Noah's the best. And it
He's much more
was
comfortable in the, I think Noah's much more comfortable in the like intermediate than I am. I think I'm a
mm,
little bit more hacky with like, I think live is I'm a little bit more patient with it because you can
sure.
act and like kind of chew on moments, but certainly over audio, it's like get to say something funny or like get the fuck off because
Yeah,
I'm gonna go listen to Maroon 5 if I don't like this, it's 2 clicks away.
yeah. I mean, literally anything
Yeah.
is.
I
It's
can't like
hard to.
leave a Carl show and go watch Maroon 5,
Yeah,
So all
that's
my
true.
improv is filtered through like how many steps away it is from consuming Maroon 5.
That's it's so funny. That band specifically is so funny.
Yeah. They're
But
America's band.
Mm.
well, easy there. I don't know about that.
It's like Bruce
Um,
Springsteen,
yeah,
Tom Petty, Maroon 5.
all the greats. Adam Levine right up there with Tom
Didn't
Petty
he
and
get
Bruce.
canceled? God, I don't know if he got canceled, but the text that got leaked for the fucking
Yeah, I don't
like
think
weirdest, dumbest, most
honestly.
pervy.
Okay, you know what's crazy is I think Adam Levine in real life might be like a Dan character,
Yeah,
really,
I agree. I appreciate
because
that. Yeah, I agree.
like
You're rooting
maybe
against him for sure.
yeah, and it feels like him sending those texts feel like not necessarily I mean, I could see it in improv certainly, but Dan, in addition to being a great improviser, I think I've told you this before, you're one of my favorite character people also, and like
Oh, I appreciate that.
Adam Levine, sending like these bum ass DMs, trying to
Yeah.
hook up with some girl, like that screams Dan White character to me. That's
Dan
so
White
it's
character. Let's make sure we're very clear.
yeah.
Character
I
here.
could I could see Dan White improviser doing that, but I can
Well,
definitely
I
see
mean,
Dan White.
I'm trying to draw the delineation between Dan White improviser character and Dan White real life would
Yeah.
not DM. I don't do
No, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Dan White
Yeah.
would write a character that
Well,
does
can
that.
I tell you my thing about, and this is like
Please, yeah.
so stupid because we have like such little time and I'm talking about Adam
No,
Levine here,
please.
but like the
Please.
sort of person he has California written above his six-pack.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, when you talk about like body tattoos, that's such prime real estate.
Yeah.
That's like and you just wrote the fucking state that you live in. It's like that's where the eye that attracts the eye. You could have written anything, and you just wrote, "I fucking love my state." You know,
hey man, if
that's
there's
the
any
sort of guy that DMs the way he did. Your body's incredible. Holy fuck! Holy fuck!
Well, now that I'm thinking about it too,
you should come to California.
Have you been? The sun, dude. Oh, holy fuck, the sun.
We're joking, but right before we jumped on, Trent, you kept talking about how much you love California. Dude, you need to get a California. You need to get a California tat.
All the more reason to show more belly.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Val.
I do have tattoos. They are concentrated on my right thigh currently, and I will say one of them is a Chicago flag. Nice. And I do want to, my idea is to, because to me, my heart lies in Chicago, but also the state of California. As we were talking about before we jumped on, I was telling Dan that I love the state of California. I don't necessarily love like the city where I'm from, or even really any city that I lived in California, but I love the state of California as a whole.
That's interesting though, because I think like, if you were to get, were you gonna say you wanted to get like a California like state? Like,
I'm gonna get I want to get the outline of the state, especially because it's very like, it's almost a rectangle. I want to get the outline of the state around the Chicago flag because it's not like an actual flag. It's more vertical. I got the two. I'll just freaking.
No, I get it. I get what you're saying. I think you're describing it better. Yeah, that's cool. That's fine.
Yeah, I improvised in shorts. That's what's up.
I mean, this is interesting because, like, I think the flag is cool. I think the state outline is cool. Like, I have no problem with that. It's very interesting that you say this because this is an interesting idea to me of, like, just the idea of writing it out is so stupid. I don't know. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Like,
I don't.
It'd be like if I got, like, a lightsaber or something but instead of that, I just wrote Star Wars. Yeah. Not in the Star Wars font. You just write the word Star Wars. Well, it's like I guess it's saying the same thing, but like
if instead of the Chicago flag, I just got Chicago, the word Chicago on my leg. Yeah. Yeah. Times New Roman font, 12-point font down the leg.
I don't know. That is so funny to me. I don't know why. I guess
you honestly, I have a lot of tattoo effects.
Because you could also make the California angled at the same spot where his California is, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. Actually, that would look terrible. So I guess he was right to do what he did.
He could have done a lot of different things. What he did. Yeah. Maybe some worse. Definitely thousands of better options.
Exactly. So that's why I'm a faster player audibly.
In conclusion, my god, that's so funny. Well, like I do think what I was saying was that this was a very good, like, encapsulation of what you do so well. Both I think in a live performance and in a like recorded performance like this. Obviously, like online, it's kind of on Twitch, it's a little different because it is live, but it is also we're not in the room together. But like I think, as I've said on Improv is Dead, like I think it comes off so well. And you guys just started doing video stuff there too. But like I think even pre-video stuff, like, and I think because you and Tim are such good friends too, this helps too. But like I never feel like there's any dead time on Improv is Dead. And I'm also in the bag for both you guys as improvisers anyway, but it's like
so there is dead time and we try to edit it out.
Oh, I know.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've been on a couple episodes.
Yours are tough to edit. No, you had that hilarious one. You had one of my favorite episodes, which was all the Photoshop stuff where that Tim's character where you were like, you came in and you just, I remember because you are very joyous and fun and energetic player. I remember that character being very what you would expect, like somebody who is almost like in that editor bay kind of mentality of like, what do you need? Yeah, we could do that. Like just like very dry.
Yeah.
That was really funny. Yeah.
Well, thanks,
and then
man. I had a great
throwing out some of those ideas that were like terrible ideas of like, and then Tim's response, let's make them bigger. I remember the tones of that stick out in my comedy brain as being very funny.
Yeah, I think we were, if I remember correctly, I think we were like photoshopping Tim's nipples or something, or like
Yeah.
giving him new nipples or something. And we were
Yeah.
all we were all students.
Yeah.
Tim was an adult.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I
Okay.
think
Well,
what it was, and this is gonna sound terrible because we just did such a blue scene, and I guess
yeah.
maybe that's but like I think it was you had photoshopped your dad's penis on him, just
Yes.
just to see what it looked like. I don't remember
Yes.
why you were like just to
Because
see what
Tim
it looked.
wanted, yeah.
But then the line was like, so yeah, we can remove it, and Tim just went, no, let's just keep it on. It made no sense.
God. You do a
Anyways.
great, you do a very good Tim impression. That's
God,
like the inflection
thanks.
of Tim. So
I
funny.
love Tim. Tim's a great responder, man. He can
Yeah.
turn I think I tend to think of myself as more like like a generator. Like I constantly throw ideas out there, and Tim is like so good at like making a very banal line like the funniest line in the show.
Yes, I fully agree. That is what you said right there. That sentence is such a better, more specific, distinct version of what I was trying to articulate earlier. I think
Oh,
you, especially when it comes to YouTube specifically, and kind of Fudge in general, I felt like you're very much a driver. Tim is a responder, and then Damien and Vince kind of lived in the middle area, and just
Damien
like
puts up cones.
yeah. But like the dynamic between you guys is just it really it always flows so well. It's always flowed so well, and I love it.
Guys. I love those guys with my whole heart.
Well, we're approaching the top of the hour, so we got to wrap up.
Yeah.
Dan, you got to listen to Improv is Dead, of which Dan is one of now 3 official hosts on the podcast, along with the previous guest of this show, Tim Lyons, and hopefully future guest Damien and I. All 3 of them are
Damien on here.
3 of my absolute favorites. So make sure you check that out, and you can follow Dan on Twitter at Dan White. Obviously a legendary Twitter follow. His Twitter is so legendary that it inspires improv scenes.
Hey, I appreciate also, it. Thank you to the person who threw it out there, the real
Sangha Man.
The real Sangha Man.
Thanks, real Sangha Man.
Also, if you're in LA, and I don't have a ticket link, so if you're on Twitch, make sure you loop back to the podcast version of this, because by the time the podcast gets posted next week, there will be a ticket link in the show notes of that. Cam and Trent's family reunion is coming back to LA on Wednesday. Thank you, Dan. Dan was actually just in one a couple months ago.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Did improv with Tim. They were great. To the surprise of no one. Cam and Trent's family reunion, Wednesday, April 26th, 7 p.m., Los Angeles. Tickets are only $8 if you buy them in advance. We'd love to see you there. It's always a great show. And this is the 1-year anniversary of me and Cam doing the show at the Yard Theater, if you can even believe that. I can't. It's kind of crazy. So we typically it's a variety show, but this is first run information for everybody right now. April 26th, family reunion is going to be exclusively improv. Nothing else on the show. No stand-up, no characters, no music, only improv, baby. Because you know what I love. We'll get to that in a second. Stay locked in right here on twitch.tv/The Trident Network to join Bitcherton Presents Our Gay Pirate Show, the season finale. Dan, thank you so much for being on the show. It was so fun. I laughed my little ass off in this chair.
Thanks for having me, buddy. I had a great time.
Good. I'm glad. Val, thank you to you as always. You're wonderful. You know that. If you stick around, you can see Val producing the next show. She is our queen. She is our leader.
I just live.
Thanks, Val. This was so smooth because of you. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Dan.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I am technologically incompetent. This show would not exist if it were not for Val. Val means so much. And I can't wait to see Val in person again.
Yes.
Which will be soon. More on that later. All right. That's it. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Val. Thank you to the Real Sangha for the suggestion, the Real Sangha Man for the suggestion. Stay tuned for Bitcherton if Bitcherton presents Our Gay Pirate Show if you're watching on Twitch. Otherwise, we'll see you. We'll back in 2 weeks and right here live on twitch.tv/The Trident Network. Bye-bye. And also, please remember, you guys, I don't know how many times I got to tell you this. I love improv.